works eventually, and we can carry on.
So welcome to Men's SuperLeague. We're watching Nottingham Sheriff against Derby Phantoms. I think doing fairly evenly in the table. I think they're all of the teams that are fighting for like that mid-table, trying to push up a bit more.
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, they're both on the same number of points, with 8 points each. Derby Phantoms slightly below Sheriffs, with a 0 set difference, whereas Sheriffs have 10. So, at this point of the league, I would say that is pretty much as close as you can be.
We've got the head-to-head where Derby won, the 2 sets, but it should be a close match between the 2 teams.
See if Sheriffs can turn that around from the last result. But based off this first set, it's currently not going perfect for them. But
a slow start. Derby making some aggressive plays over the front of the court. I think that Ben cool. We see that Sheriffs are missing their live wire winner in John Holmes, and I believe it's Tom Charlton is back in the Phantoms lineup. Really set himself,
just couldn't quite secure it.
Tom Bell's got quite a strong arm for his release.
Whoa! I think there was about 5 different attempts to make that catch, but not quite able to secure it on any of them. And a bit of miscommunication there, and I think Sheriffs will be kicking themselves a little bit to not punish that.
I think Jamie was just confused as the stop there as the 2 Phantoms players. But then the set goes, I think that's the first set of the game, it goes to Derby Phantoms.
Indeed it is. Ben just looking a little confused there about whether he'd hit the player out before he'd released. He was obviously well aware that he had been hit, but just wanted to know if the other ball was live. So that's why you saw him being a bit confused there.
Another ball going to Nottingham Sheriff.
Phantoms. And a jumping catch off court, and then
a wild catch by him,
just
they've given away 5 balls.
Of these 2 teams as well, you would have probably put money on Sheriffs being the team to make the most catches, and instead, actually, Derby, they just all seem to be taking catches for fun at this point. I know it's still very early in the game, but there, on the other hand, there was not a catch availability. The ball popped up very slightly, but it almost wedged between the 2 players, so neither one of them could actually make the catch before it hit the other player. So.
Ping pong there. Anyway. Early day. I think these teams are really interesting to watch because, to me, they're both teams that are kind of greater than the sum of their parts. I think they're both very good teams and they work together so well. The thing I said about Sheriffs, or one of the things I noticed from Sheriffs last season, is they worked really well as a group of 6 players. Great catch.
Lovely catch.
And Derby have proved this season as well a very good core of 6, and they're such a strong team. They work so well with each other. But this set is going a bit more in Sheriff's favour.
Well, I mean, you say that, it's currently 4-on-2 for Phantoms. Letting that... nice work there from Sam Ward, able to pre-throw and then get under the 2 attacking throws. Gets a hit and manages to stay in. And as well as that, gets 4 balls, but...
Only a 1 player deficit now for Sheriffs.
And that double running counter that the women are incredibly well known for comes out to play here for the men as well, and they're able to get that hit. Cheeky 2-ball release there.
A lot closer than it might have been from our angle.
To be honest, I think a lot of the time when players do that, it's more about passing possession than necessarily trying to get a hit with that second ball. Obviously, a hit's nice, but it's about forcing the three balls to the other side so that you can look for a catch. But unable to make it though. That was very well thrown by Derby there. All of those balls in a very tight grouping.
I think that's a great composure from the other team because they've got their 5 balls, they didn't manage to get a hit off of it. And then they went even on players even after getting 2 very strong hits early on. I think the composure just to grind the sets out, to secure the win.
Yeah, I feel this Sheriff's team they're almost a little too in sync. Where they're coming up to throw, because they're all at the same time, actually one big dodge or one sort of set means that regardless of who throws, you're in a good position. Yeah. Whereas when you have that slight stagger between players, a little bit more chaos on court, I want to say, it just makes it so much harder to deal with.
A lot more going on than just the one
straight run up.
Sheriffs are up for the first time in the game, I believe.
Yeah, I think you may be right there.
See what they can do with a bit of momentum in their favour.
Ed looking to go for a free throw there, but that was well shut down. Sam himself turned and almost acknowledged that the ball was likely to be coming in. And Dave on the left wing there was just sort of like, no, if you release, I'm hitting you. I think Dom taking that catch early on, they are probably quite got off by him being the solo player in the middle. And that's a nice trade there. Both of those balls coming in and able to just get the hit, even if it takes a player out. 3 balls now for Sheriffs, so let's see if they can really put the pressure on, get a hit here and hopefully get on the board.
Try to take it, play it slow, and then pick a moment when they needed to. Looks like they're doing the same. And Wood left it on his own.
And Dom happy to just lay down there and let that ball sail over his head. He knows, actually, we can carry on. We can just control this set from now on. Derby are one of the best teams at throwing borderline invalid and just timing out the end of the frame. But
very good run. Third running counter there.
Yeah.
From the 2 counters, Tom Bell and Dom Smith left in on that.
Yeah.
Very well played, actually.
Yeah, they just decided, we could play this slow and not do anything, but actually we're just going to get the hit instead.
We've got a timeout called here for Sheriffs. They've gone 6-0 down. It's always a good time to call a timeout when a few sets are against you, just to kill the momentum and make sure that kind of slow it down and slow the pace down in case that's something that's been going against you in the set.
So I know we've very lightly touched around why their throws may not be as effective as they can be, but what do you think Sheriffs need to do to try and turn around this 3-game deficit?
Other than kind of the catches that are going against them, I actually think they're just too easy to hit the back and forth. I think Derby are coming forward, throwing a couple of singles and getting quite a high hit rate on that. So their hit completion to then go up a couple of players. And then once you've got a 2-player advantage, you really do have a foothold on a game. And it's a lot easier to do what you want to do when you have that advantage. If you can survive that first minute, see what Derby do when maybe things aren't working so well, that might be a different story. Great cross-court there.
I thought that was almost going to be a double hit there, just not quite nicking the first person who stepped out the way of it, leaving his buddy behind to be the one to get hit.
So we've had a substitution here. I think Jordan Taylor's on for Sam Ward.
Yeah.
No substitution.
Oh, that's a lovely cheeky cross court.
Ben called out because Ed Raven did have his hands up quite significantly, although he might be going to the players behind, but then that's something you can't really decide as...
Well, there's two parts about that. That Ed Raven, as a player that's out, should be leaving via the closest available exit, which would be to the left as we're looking at it, in which case that throw would have missed him and hit a player behind, in all likelihood, or potentially hit a player behind. But also, actually, I think more likely what happened there is Ben wanted to throw at Ed, but he had clocked that Simon was coming over, so was focused on everything else and wasn't able to actually realise his hands were up. I know it sounds really silly watching it back, but actually a lot of the time when you're that narrowly focused, you just see a shape in front of you that is your target. And I think that's going to be a timeout there. Dave going down a little bit injured. Yeah, looks like he's just checking to see if his nose is bleeding at all. Yeah. Well, a lot of the time all it takes is one player to be doing well and they're perfectly happy putting themselves in that higher risk situation. Whereas if on the other wing they've been caught out once or twice, like that, another lovely catch, then they're less inclined to push up court because they've got that catch in the back of their mind. Oh, that is a glorious cross court there, but a bounce called. Bounce and hit called by different refs, and in the end, eventually a hit decided upon. It's quite well done by the refs there to let play continue, and just let that player stand on court, looking a little confused for a little while. Another catch for Derby, and then the cheeky release forced Ben's ball to sail well over him because Ben was worried about being hit himself. So this is starting to look a little more like it from the Sheriffs. But I mean, as I say that, they've got two players out and they're still a player down. Obviously, they do have quite a lot of time left in this set, but still looking so difficult for them to get any points on the board. Ben, normally such a good player down on the floor with that ball to block, able to get himself well behind it, but Ed's still managing to sneak a hit through, so nicely done. Yeah, I feel this Sheriff's team just aren't really feeling it. I think, actually, if they had a little more mojo, suddenly some of those catches would stick and it would be perfectly fine. So, Ooh. Nice work there, but again, the Derby team, that was very close to being a catch. They're just able to enjoy themselves and have a good time here.
Great cross. Dave taking it.
Dom switching over from playing at 2 to playing on that wing, and it definitely seems to work for him. And that is time there. And the second half is underway, and it starts off well for Sheriffs. They end up with their extra ball, third ball, so. And 2 hits. And I do believe that was Tom's first step on court, and it was a very brief one at that. Is recently back from injury, I do believe, so possibly still feeling a bit, was retrieving, so running around. Oh,
Lovely.
that was beautiful. And that was very close there, but not quite actually getting a hit on the pre-throw. Tom Smith doing his usual cross-court. Hit. That's really good awareness there from the Sheriffs. They realise that that ball is still plenty of time to reach the ground, and they're able to get that hit on Simon while he's facing the other direction. Otherwise, taking that out would leave it as a 3-on-3. So instead, by getting that hit, 2 players up, and this is not long into this this frame, and another hit there. They're okay to release all of their balls there because they know they're only coming back 1 at a time, possibly 2 if he does a cheeky double throw, but there's no particular risk from massive throws or anything like that by only having 1 player left in. Ooh, surprising to go for that release there. Not able to get the hit, but Jordan not able to get him in as he was tracking back either. So I do like the way the Sheriffs line up for this. It is the 2 wing players with the balls, and then pretty much slips behind them.
Yeah, I think just, one of my favourite. Yeah. One of the slips, cool.
Mm.
Dodges somehow
I was very much going to question Ben's play there, but it works. Put himself at risk, drawing the aggro off everyone else because he trusts himself as a better dodger than the rest.
And hit Gordon Ryan Ellis.
Yeah.
And Sheriffs get their first win.
And we can't actually see the scoreboard from here, but we're not entirely sure whether it was a draw at the end of the first half or it was the win for Derby. So apologies if our scoreboard is slightly out. We will make sure we check that ideally before the end, but depends on if we get to see the scoreboard at all. Oh! Oh! Ben going to be a little bit annoyed at having to go to the outbox for that. He gets a nice throw and a block into player's face, and it bounces up. But it doesn't look like Derby have actually realised a catch was made. So, oh, have they? Ah, right.
I'm tapping their area.
Oh. This is a really smart change up from Sheriffs. They've realised that Derby have made quite a lot of catches, and they're going, what's the best way to deal with this? Let's just throw everything.
Some very acrobatic.
And showing that he's not quite as sprightly as he used to be, and getting back up from that. Oh, yeah, just that timing where Dom wasn't quite able to get his hands and body fully turned to it, so able to get the hit there. But yeah, as I was saying, Sheriff's just deciding to release a lot of the time all of their balls, because actually they're going, you know what, getting that hit is worthwhile. And another questionable, cheeky play by Ben, but it's paying off. So. Oh, I thought that was going to be another rebound catch there. 1v1. Neither player able to connect so far. Both throwing off the player, I would say. Ben Moore looks like he's wanting to win this, but no surprise given the scoreline. I think, yeah, you're perfectly okay taking a draw if it takes 3 minutes and this is the scoreline. But, that said,
painting.
oh.
Yeah, Ben. Smash.
The only thing is, was that enough to raise everyone else's mojo? If it is, then yeah, we could definitely see Sheriff start to get more points on the board, but it's so much to ask of pretty much one player, and the lovely cross-court there from Simon. And as well as that, it's not just the release from Simon, it's the other players. Ed Raven, obviously, quite a big threat, is fixing a lot of eyes to that side of the court. Middle player as well, making movements, trying to draw people's attention, and it works.
But opening themselves up to Jones, Derby, very clued in with it at the moment.
Oh! Yeah, it's the speed at which he collapses down to the floor to secure that catch.
I think Jordan trying to play with, obviously with some pace there, to hit up as much as possible, but just biting in a bit too much on that running counter there. Ed doing a really good job to take him out, knowing that he probably wouldn't.
Yeah, and Dom just a very nice, clean sacrifice play. Realises it's a 5-on-2. I'm just going to take that 1-for-1 trade, force it to be one player left in. But he has made another hit, so let's see what he can do. Nice, sensible, safe throws there from Derby.
Definitely looking for the capture. I think he's one of Sheriff's more reliable captures, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The trouble is that Derby.
Commentators,
yeah. I was just about to say as well that Derby are very good at playing it off body, and based off the reactions of both the player and the surrounding other players, I think that wasn't quite the plan to go for a hit there, so quite lucky to get away with that.
Jordan, unlucky then not to make a hit on Ryan Ellis, who started his penalty quite early.
So I think that was a bit of a weird mix-up that they were doing at the start, where he was running for the ball but then needing to shift out to the wing. I don't know that it was necessarily a running counter, but yeah, just not quite tracking the player well enough, so it goes behind him.
Yeah, it's also, I believe, Jordan being a left-handed player, that would have been an outside the arm shot, an angle that's probably not more comfortable for a left-handed player.
And Dave there showing that he is used to the international rules, puts the ball down rather than passing it off to a teammate. You are allowed to pass to a teammate under the BD rules, but in Euros it does have to be placed on the ground where you are out. And Dom just showing off his flexibility as well. Decides to go for a bit of a, I'm going to call it an IKEA folding table.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just folds himself under the wall.
What I'm finding is that the Derby players are definitely utilising the court space a lot more than the show. So the dodge there from...
Woo!
Look at that! What a clutch there!
Lovely!
One of those clutch moments in the game.
Yeah, not only has he got the hit on Simon there, makes the catch, and then I believe it was actually his ball that gets Dom out as well. So apologies about the slight audio issues that there may have been. We're trying to just streamline things to be a little bit better for you at home watching. So hopefully we can get that sorted. But whoa, another catch from Sheriffs, and they're very quick to reset these balls. They still think they can get this possibly to a draw.
Derby calling a timeout. Just to kill that momentum, which I think is a really smart timeout to make. That catch at the end was obviously quite a big clutch moment. A really good way to end a set for Sheriffs.
And we have just confirmed the score is actually 14-6, which I believe means that end of the first half was a draw rather than a win for Derby. So we've just clarified that, which then makes a bit more sense as to why Phantoms are rushing so much. It makes it a lot more a manageable deficit. Granted, still a lot of work for them to do, but
I think with how close these teams are in the table, any point makes a difference. So they really need to work to get the points difference and to keep them active. And
yeah, that's the other thing, that actually there's, I think, 8 points difference separating these two teams. So any sort of narrowing of that is huge, because it may well come down to points at the end, set difference at the end of the season. So. That is a
opening run.
Quick start there from Sheriffs. They're definitely feeling it a lot more than they were in this first half.
Good post throw there. Things seem to be going a bit more their way this half. Their hits are connecting. They're more into it. They're making the catches. Things seem to be working for them, as opposed to the first half where they weren't quite as successful.
Unlucky there to not secure that catch, but I do believe it was a trade, leaving it as 3 players apiece. Ed managing to get very small behind his block. and 4 balls for Derby. Yeah, I think this momentum shift probably actually stems back to releasing multiple balls. It's very easy to not be able to get your eye in if you've not warmed up properly, or you start a little bit cold, and as soon as you actually get that opportunity to release more, everyone's throwing more often, you can go, oh, that ball was a terrible release, even if it didn't get the hit, even if it gets blocked, anything like that. And it just then frees up your mentality of going, oh no, actually I can throw, I'm making these minor adjustments to my throw in order to get hits. Now the cheering you may be able to hear on the stream is the Storm 2 versus Coventry match.
Which is a must-win for both teams, I believe.
Yes, it is a bottom of the table clash, but I think both teams would be able to make it out of the relegation zone. So hoping for that. Yes, so at the beginning of the day they were both sitting 8th and 9th respectively. So Coventry at 8th.
Sam not managing to get that catch, even though it was right in the basket for him. Ben Cool and Dave both running over to support him.
Yeah, I think they're aware at this point that actually the game is pretty much done. They're not going to be able to overturn this deficit, so actually they're going, you know what, it's more important to have fun, to enjoy ourselves, and be able to stop playing better because of that.
Yeah, and you also remember this goes into the second game, so I believe Sheriffs do have another game.
I do believe they both actually already played their games, so I will check that for everyone. Yes, so Sheriffs played Bees earlier, which was unfortunately not streamed, and Derby also played earlier, playing Wessex Wolves. So this is them done after this. Well, unless they have any reffing duties or anything else.
That's very true.
Which actually I believe they may.
Oh, and the double hit there.
And the
little
win
consolation
there for
prize
at the
there
end.
for Sheriffs.